Hello and welcome to the Apex Racing League GT Championship live on Apex Racing TV and live on the iRacing Esports Network. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick and alongside me is Sam Kume, and we are here for the final rounds of this championship, final round of Season 3. And so that's a pretty legendary circuit, Interlagos, a place where many championships have been decided, and we've got a couple to decide tonight as well. Really looking forward to this one, round 8 of the season. And Sam, a couple of the changes already done, to be fair. We've got Tom McMahon, who has had an almost faultless season so far. I mean, he's won 4 races, which isn't incredible for him. I mean, last season he managed to win, I believe, 9 races on course for the title, deserved 10 as well, non-finish in the last round of the championship, that fact. But then he's had 4 second places as well. In fact, 5 second places. He's also had a 3rd place as well, barely finished off the podium all season long. And that is why he has got that lead that we're currently seeing on screen, 140 points clear. And with the drop round, even without the drop round, he couldn't be caught. But with the drop round, it's been quite a comfortable championship for him.
Yeah, that just, as you say, it comes down to the consistency. And I think that's what we've also seen in the ARLTC, is that, okay, the leaders, they may not win every race, but they're actually being consistent, getting the points, and just making sure that they get to the finish. But this season has really flown by, and kind of hard to believe that it's already last week, as we see the AM Championships here on the screen right now with Dean Powell. Also, very decisive lead over Adam Coles here. Just under 100 points.
Yeah, Powell with that championship all but sealed up. I think now it would take something pretty incredible for Coles to bring that back. But dare I say, even with the drop time, might already have it mathematically. But so we'll only announce it after today when we're absolutely sure about what the point situation is. But it is looking very good for Dean Powell in that. Regarding the teams championship, by the way, I'm not sure if we can bring up the teams championships.
No, I do not have those.
No, yeah, but I'll just read it through then. EVSR with 1,100 points, and then Vanguard Simsports with just under 1,000. So about 120 points in that one. Unlikely that EVSR will be caught in that one. You can score about 220 points in the team's championship per round. But EVSR have been very consistent, and of course that is 3 drivers. You can pretty much rely on them getting the points. So EVSR leading that one. Vanguard Simsports in their debut season, remember, doing very well in 2nd place. And mscienceuk.com with Dean Powell and Daniel Lee, despite only having the 2 drivers, they are in 3rd place. And they actually, for the first time in their history, they scored the most amounts of points last time out, when Lee had a couple of good results. And also Dean Powell came 2nd place in race 2, along with a decent race 1 as well. So good championship for them. 16 teams taking part in this season. It's been a fantastic season. And thankfully, we've got still over 30 drivers joining us for this final round of the championship, which is a little bit higher than what we usually see. So thanks to all the guys for committing to the season. Thanks for tuning in as well. This Interlagos round should be very good. We usually get some really entertaining racing around this track. In multitudes of cars, but particularly these GTEs as well. I've commentated on plenty on fantastic events in these machines. We're coming to the end of practice. Practice will quickly advance, and then we'll go into a 10-minute qualifying session. And in this 10-minute qualifying session, the drivers can set 4 lap times if they so choose. And they should have time around this decently short circuit compared to some of the other tracks that we have visited so far this season. But I don't know what it is about this circuit, Sam, but it's kind of got, it's got a bit of a mystical value to it, hasn't it? Because on paper, I wouldn't say it's anything particularly unique. I mean, you got the long turn 13, which is pretty cool with not a lot of runoff area. And you got the tight twisty infield section, but I know there's something about this circuit which just makes it really good for racing, and it's usually one of the drivers' favourite circuits as well to visit, I think, this season.
Yeah, certainly. It is. It has this unique layout to it, and of course the F1 history and all of that it adds to it. But I think on iRacing specifically, On this track we usually experience very hot weather conditions and it is known to be extremely slippery. So far at least, right now we are in very good conditions, but we will see how it develops during the race.
Yeah, I think around this place you can get over 50 degrees track temperature, which you can get a couple of other places, but it's very rare. Maybe in, I don't know, maybe the Californian races or maybe some of the events in the Sun Belt in the American Rails. Perhaps you could get
Or
to those
Kota,
levels,
for
but
example, at Texas.
Yeah, all those southern states potentially you could get those high temperatures, but this place is probably the hottest circuit, frankly, on all of iRacing. But today, as you say, not too bad because it is morning weather, and then race 2 will be in late afternoon, so we should be able to avoid the majority of that, but it'll still probably be warmer than what the drivers have got used to so far this championship. And I think I also looked as well at the official series because I think by coincidence the official series in IMSA is also visiting this circuit this week, and they also ran it in the morning, so I think everyone knows how hot it can get around this place and try to avoid it as best as possible, as the drivers are all alone on circuit. They got the track to themselves and they're just rounding now the final couple of corners in order to start their first lap. In fact, quite a few drivers already on their first lap time.
Yeah, currently looking at Ryan Jones, who is just starting his, but let's see, do we find someone who is on a decent lap? Crispon Denese is about halfway through, and he has set purple sector on the sector 3. And he's just approaching this final braking zone here. Now, if he can get a good run here, this should be a decent lap time. All of his sectors have been fairly fast, so I would expect this to be in the top 10 at least.
Yeah, looking good for the Performance Link driver, the 124 to the line. Does he take pole position? Well, he'll be the first driver across the line at least. And there he goes, and he is pole position, but Aaron Powell then takes that away from him. Edwards now goes to the top. Edwards been very good in qualifying since he's come back to the championship midway through the season. Been fantastic to have him back. And interestingly, Edwards immediately toes back to the grid. Apologies to the pit. So you'll see as Bowden now takes pole position, you'll see the drivers probably do a 1 lap stint and a 2 lap stint. So you've got 4 laps, but you don't want to do all 4 of those laps on the same set of tires because you'll just burn them out. So either you do 1 lap, come back to the pits, and then do 2 laps, or you do 2 laps, then come back to the pits and do 1 lap. You got to pretty much sacrifice 1 of your 4 laps to tow back to the pits. Bowden also towing back straight away. He's currently on pole position. Tom McMahon, though, I should probably said this because McMahon has qualified on the front row of the grid in every one bar 1 of the rounds so far this championship. Got a couple of pole positions, a couple of second places as well, but he will not be doing qualifying in this round. He got a penalty after colliding with Emil Winbo last time out, and the stewards very rarely give McMahon penalties. He's quite a big funder of the championship, and so they usually give him a bit of leeway in that regard. But it was that bad that they had to give it to him, and unfortunately McMahon then starting from the pits in this first race. We will have a reverse grid for race 2, so he might be able to come back in race 2, but the first time ever that I think McMahon's got a penalty, and it's so unusual, Sam, because he's such a clean driver, and he held his hands up. It was a terrible incident we had at Nürburgring into turn 1 when he hit Winbo, and we'll really suffer from that in this last round of the championship.
He's really getting the reverse grid wheel experience on the race 1, so I think it's gonna be a busy evening for him. Let's see, where is Dean Paul, because okay, he's only now setting his first lap time, so interesting to see what he is getting here. I'm not seeing amazing sector time, so it almost looks like the track is actually getting slower.
Yeah, you could be right. Maybe the track getting a bit warmer and therefore getting a bit slower. Bowden still on pole position then. This is my favourite part of the broadcast, actually, because I can bring up my stat sheets of the best qualifiers. Bowden, by the stats, is the best qualifier on the grid. He's on average 0.1% of pole position. That's by 0.02% faster than McMahon, which is pretty much 0. It's probably about 200ths of a second on average. He is faster than McMahon. They have been so good. Janko, who's new to the championship, he's actually third place, even though he's only done a couple of rounds. Usually 0.3 of a second off pole position. Currently he's 0.7 off his Janko, which is unusual to see. But Bowden, yeah, very strong, and also Edwards as well. Usually only half a second off pole position, which is one of the top positions out there, 5th best qualifier. Aaron Powell is the most random out there as Edwards improves, but it's still only 2nd place for him as he comes into the pits again, does Edwards. So he's doing 3 one-lap stints, which shows how important the fresh tyres are for these drivers, seemingly. But Aaron Powell, who's currently lining up in 3rd place on the grid, has been absolutely everywhere on the grid so far. He's had a 13th, a 19th, a 5th, and then he got on the front row of the grid at Mosport, and then 14th. So he's only qualified in the top 10 twice, but when he has done, it's been very successful for him. And once again, he's doing well up there. 3rd place, now that turns into 4th as James Crouch, pole sitter from last time out at Nürburgring, puts himself onto the 2nd row of the grid.
Can you actually confirm, is there something going on with Kostic? Does he have a penalty or something like that? Because I believe McMahon on the YouTube chat is commented that there is maybe he shouldn't be in the qualifiers as soon.
I am not sure, and he will feel the wrath, as Vandenesse goes up to 3rd, he will feel the wrath of the stewards if that is the case. I'll say in a bit actually what's happened.
Okay.
But he will, maybe we'll have to face a penalty for that. I think Godzik maybe with a pit lane start for this race, and you're not meant to do qualifying because
yeah,
that
that
leaves
would
a hole
explain
in the grid, and it means that all the drivers on one side of the grid gain a place. We don't like to name and shame, but Arthur, you've gone and messed up, haven't you? A winner, of course, for the 2nd round of the championship, or 2nd race of the championship at round 1 at Road America. Great drive that was from him. But we'll struggle today on that regard. Here comes Dean Powell, currently in 16th place, top of the amateur drivers, but a bit lower down than he usually is. He crosses the line, and that's a 29.6. So that was not a bad lap time for him, but not an improvement. And I think that's the end of his qualifying session. So one of Powell's worst qualifyings, but yeah, just shows how fast he is when he's still ahead of all the other amateurs.
Right now, I think the only one who is actually setting very good lap times is Tobias Olsson, but that might also be that his previous lap times haven't really been representative of his actual pace. Right now he's setting personal best on 1, 2, 3 and 4 sectors, so this might actually be a decent lap time. Let's just see him coming through the main straight here.
Good to see Tobias back in the league. He's missed a couple of the past rounds. His best qualifying is 18th, so he could improve on that if he can move up a couple of places here. As you say, some personal best sectors, so you'd expect him to move up as he crosses the line, and he he goes up into 18th, so he's going to match his best qualifying position, providing that no one else improves behind him, and gets ahead of Max Wolf. You were after some good qualifyings recently. Wolf in this series and in the Porsche Cup Championship, 19th place, a little bit further down, and he'll be a bit disappointed.
And look at this. We have John Gordon. He's currently in 11th, and Kotzik, his teammate, is in 9th. So if Kotzik starts from the pits, that actually promotes Gordon ahead of Winbow. But if Gordon now improves on his last lap, moves ahead of Winbow, he's actually going to be down 1 position when we actually get started on the race. But the time's up.
Yes, so he doesn't improve. Master plan. I mean, that's 5-dimensional chess right there. A genius from the teammates to I'm sure that was deliberate, no doubt about it. The grid then for the last time this season, it's Jonas Bowden, who gets his 3rd pole position of the season, and I think ends the season as the best qualifier of the championship. So congrats to Bowden. He doesn't get a prize. There's literally no award, but there you go. Jonas on pole position, half a tenth to a second ahead of Taj Edwards, who was ever so close. Chris van der Nesse, who's only the 16th best qualifier in this championship, is van der Nesse, and yet has put in a brilliant qualifying to put himself up into third place. James Crouch lines up in fourth. Then it is Mohamed Yanko once again up there, and Powell with a good qualifying in sixth. Then it's Daniel Lee, watch out for him, perhaps one of the favourites for this race. Scott Rister in only his second meeting in eighth. Then it's Art Godsick and Emil Wimby rounding out the top 10. Godsick, of course, will not take the start, or will be starting from the pit, sorry. John Gordon lines up in 11th. There's Jan Weinmaster, Mark Hutchinson, Luke McCowan, Jensen Adjensons, James Salt, Dean Powell, that's a very strong row of the grid, Tobias Olsen and Max Wolf in 19th. Then it's Kevin Kittleman in 20th. Behind that is Daniel Savo, Adam Coles, Tim Perry, Tom Stevens, Justin Garek, Joseph Saul, Tom Bingham, Derek Holland, Ryan Jones, John Chessida, and Steve Brown. McMahon starting from the pit lane, and I think the others were quite satisfied with that, because it's weird to see the car number one, the defending champion, the champion for this season as well, starting all the way at the back, and it's after an incident they had last time out. I feel bad for him actually, because I mean, believe it or not, and I know for all viewers it's going to be very difficult to believe this, but I actually was quite well behaved in school. I mean, I wasn't the rebellious type that I am now, that my commentary assumes. But so whenever I got in like detention or something, everyone would always make a big deal out of it. And I feel like it's the same for McMahon. Lots of harassment of McMahon because he doesn't usually get penalties, and I'm going to harass him on it because it doesn't happen a whole lot of the time. At least he could listen to qualifying live. I think Andrew Woodhouse now joins us in the commentary box. Andrew, well done. Welcome, sir.
Hello, yes. Hi, Sam. Hi, everybody. It's good to be here again. And the final race of the season upon us one more time. What a great venue for it. Undulating, tight, flowing nature of Interlagos circuit. And the safety car, well, can lead them round Yun Shao. And hopefully we get a clean start through the Center S.
Yeah, could be a bit of a pinch point down into turn 2, but for the most part this season the drive's been good. That's because we know what's going to happen now. But the Ford Mustang, for the last time this season, is going to round the final couple of corners. And we only go green very late around this second. It's a bit like Kota, it's a bit like Imola, and you can really only go green very soon to the start finish line. There's not going to be a big run, but it's Jonas Bowden for the third time this season starting from pole position in this race 1, and the green flag does come out quite early in fact, and we are away racing for 25 minutes of action here at Interlagos. Hutchinson with a miraculous start, and McCowan, they got a massive jump. It's 5 wide further down the order. That was Powell going for a big lunge down the inside. Has anyone dropped down? I mean, Rister and Winberg dropped down, but that was a big hold up right at the start, and a few drivers have gone up loads of positions, mimicking Raikkonen from earlier on today. It's still Bowden leading the way though. Van der Nesse has got up into second place. He's ahead of Taj Edwards. Then it's Yanko ahead of Crouch, Lee up a place, Hutchinson up 6 places, Dean Plough up 9 places, and he just got the launch perfect, and that was a very strange start there, was he? But well, very fortunate that we didn't have a big collision across the start finish line and then into turn 1.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how they all made it, but they did. And nice clean start. A few drivers did drop down, but no crashes, just getting a little bit, I guess, swamped by the field. And yeah, 5 wide to the first corner. I was holding my breath there, but everyone made it through, and everyone is out the other side. And Bodin leads the way 7/10 of a second. Is a good advantage to have on the opening lap. Van der Nesse said it was one of his best qualifyings of the season. He's up to second position, and he's reeling in Bodin quite slowly, but doing it well.
It seemed like Bowden opened up the gap quite a bit into Zhongchao, and then got a poor exit though, so he gained like 2/10 on entry and then lost about 3/10 through 13 and down the pit straight, so it went from about a second to 7/10 there. Oh, Aaron Powell, Powell with a good qualifying, lost out on the start, and he is still going though, not too much damage as well on that Evo SR car as far as I'm seeing. And
Around the outside. Around the outside in curve of Dassault, I guess somebody was a bit slow. Possibly a slow down penalty from the first corner, who knows? Tim Perry, see him just ahead of Tressida now. Good start for the BMW, Sam. You've got 12 of them out of the, 11 out of the top 12.
That's crazy. I'll go down the straights, but I think you can get into the wrong idea of this. Like, as Powell has a little bit of a look, but of course the long straight makes you think that it's going to be a low downforce track. It's actually, I think the drivers usually run quite a bit of downforce in Formula 1 in particular. They run quite a lot of downforce. I think part of that is we've got quite a high altitude here as well, but it's mainly around the corners. That's that the drivers will set up for. But so it's surprising that Kentucky is doing quite so well.
Yeah, I think you can kind of do it either way around here, and I think that's the beauty of Interlagos. That's Edwards trying to go around the outside of Van der Nessa in the Senna S and getting through, and that's a good move there by the Jamaican. Now he can set off after Jonas Bodin. 1.4 seconds is 1.5 seconds now is the advantage for the Swede.
Yeah, Edwards yet to win a race so far this season. Last race win came at Le Mans last season in race 2. Was up in third place in the championship for much of last season, but which had to miss most of the opening rounds in this season, but has made a big impact since he's come back. Olsen and Wolf were just having a good battle in 15th and 16th. Olsen just ahead now. In fact, it's an incredible battle from Rister and everyone behind Vista. He's got quite a key. Here we go. Bowden is involved in that one, and he's just trying to get, apologies, Winbow, just trying to get past Sivi Sabo, maybe just defending there. But they're all having to defend from one another, and it's really holding them up quite a bit. And if you're not attacking, you're defending.
Something to just mention, McMahon is in 30th. Made 2 positions since the start. Just got past Ryan Jones. So slow progress for McMahon, but progress nonetheless.
Got a few Indy Autosports drivers in line at the moment. Adam Coles behind his teammate Kevin Kisselman. And here comes Coles to the outside. It's for second place out of the amateurs. And it could be second place in the championship as well, in the amateur category. Yeah, couldn't make that one though. And Kisselman stays ahead, who has been on a good run of form as Kisselman, although not enough to challenge Dean Powell for that title. Just off the circuit further up was Salt for a moment, but he's remained in 14th place. Ever so close to Mickey Owen and Gordon also just flashing up as well, going off track through turn 4.
Oh, and off goes Kevin Kittelman, and that's at Desida do Lago, so he's got to come back on carefully here. He does use the runoff area to do that nicely. So a spin for Kittelman. We don't know if he was assisted. I'm sure we're going to find out in just a moment.
Oh, it wasn't by his own teammate, was it?
No, he's gone in too hot, hasn't he? Oh yeah, just couldn't save it. And then the back end comes around. He would have recovered to the circuit a lot quicker, I think, but just the back end just did a little pirouette on him as up the inside goes Winbo. Sorry, that's is that Sivi Sabo actually, Sam, is it?
Yeah, I think it's
On Winbo?
trying to get past Winbo. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Which is a bit surprising as Winbo qualified up in 10th place, but he does usually struggle for race pace in comparison to his qualifying pace. The BMW, though, faster down the straights, like I said before, albeit quite a bit of control over the setup. Oh, look at it just ahead as well. That is Salt. Well, Salt was trying to get past Vista a couple of moments ago, and Vista's getting away with this. I don't think he's very quick, but they're all batting so hard behind. And here comes Wolf now, who got past Olsen, I believe, and Wolf might be past Salt as well. Here he goes in the BMW, and then we've got another BMW in a lofty position. Salt not making the move on Vista, and he's really paid for it. Here is Winbo and Sivi Sabo again.
Ah.
And Sivi Sabo has made that move stick, but Winbo won't be quite about it. Jacko's sending a bit, and he's going to get back ahead again.
Janko's got past, well, he had got past Van der Nessa. They've exchanged positions actually for 3rd and 4th places. So that's looks like a close fight. Crouch in there as well, with Lee just behind. Yeah, Van der Nessa, you mentioned the qualifying was, like I say, possibly was his highest one of the season. It's kind of showing that, isn't it? Because he's fallen 4 seconds off of Taj Edwards now, and struggling for pace now is the Dutchman. But up the inside goes, well, that's Daniel Lee, isn't it, having a lunge. Oh, and wide for Van der Nessa. He's going to lose the place surely.
Very generous there of Janko to leave plenty of room through turn 2. Janko's yet to score a podium. Van der Nessa yet to score a podium as well this season. And they're batting very hard for it at the moment. Crouch and Lee both won races so far. And there goes James Crouch down the inside. Lee will get a very good run on these two. And now the inside and the outside can work well for this next section of corners. But you've got to be very brave around the outside. Leave your rival a bit of space. And when the BMWs are going side by side here, there's really no opportunity for a third driver to make a move on them because they occupy the entire circuit. Van der Nesse might just win out here. And he's done very well to defend from Crouch. And here comes Lee, who's going to try to take advantage. Crouch just about manages to cut across. He didn't get the message from his spots so that they were alongside. So he moved across and very little has changed there, but Janko has started pulling away, and this battle starting to grow again. This could reignite all the way down to 12th.
Yeah, big long trains appearing, as we often see here. Look at the track map, you can see the top 2 are away, and then you've got this long snake that's just separated slightly in the middle between 12th and 13th place. On board with Hutchinson. Hutchinson has got a good run on Lee here. Lee's not defending all the way to the inside, and an open door is an invitation for Hutchinson, but Lee's late on the brakes, Sam, and he maintains P6.
It's a strange. I don't know where to look, to be honest, because there's so much going on. I just saw on our screen, I think Wolf was defending from Salts. Yeah, everything's going on. It's a weird circuit, this. I've raced with, of course, Ben Gregory. He races in the AFL-CC Championship. I recall a race when he defended for an hour against someone who was like a second a lap faster than him. In a GTE car, and he just went right to the inside of the circuit in like every corner, in turn 4 and turn 1. He just always went right to the inside, and it made it impossible for the other guys to overtake. It's a weird circuit where you can actually overtake, which is strange for a place where you've got long straights and you've got big braking areas.
Oh, it's going to be a lunge here, is there? I'm not sure, but back at Lee. Still ahead of Hutchinson. Now Adriansons is now tacked on to the back of this. So a man from Belgium moving up the field. Started in 15th, so a good start.
Hutchinson's another very good qualifier. Got the promotion from amateur to pro and has improved his race pace as well so far this season. Salt and Wolf are just having an absolutely insane battle. I think we'll stick with this one for a little bit longer, but you can see it for yourself on the time screen. They're constantly changing places. Van der Nesse almost being overtaken. I don't think he's got bad pace to be fair, would he? I think he's just being pushed offline quite a bit since. Yeah, Janko initially made a bit of a gap, but he hasn't pulled away since. I think Van der Nesse's just got some of the fastest drivers on track right behind him.
Oh yeah, he's not stupidly slow or anything, but definitely maybe 3 or 4 tenths off of what the guys behind are doing at the moment. But as you were saying before, it might not be quite enough for them to make the move, just 3 or 4 tenths.
Rista.
What about him? Oh, there he is. He's lost a place to McMahon. Scott Rista then, the privateer. Let's see, goes into the Interlagos again. Is he going to do the same thing as what? Oh, yes, he is. There you go. The rear steps out on the big, thick boy that is the BMW. And a big, thick spin for Scott Rista. Oh, and that's Aaron Powell. And the Porsche's gone over. Wow. Who's that, Sam? That's Godzik.
Watch, I can see that one.
Godzik has rolled over after a collision with Aaron Powell. They both slammed into the wall, and well, that was on the exit of Curva de Sol. So they were round the corner. They were on the Retro-Posta, and yeah, ended up in a massive heap, barrel roll for Godzik. And this is Daniel Lee, Sam, now threatening the back end of Crouch, and off goes
Hutchinson into Lee, and Lee was moving about a lot there, and Hutchinson getting a bit caught out, and too late on the brakes. Lee drops to 13th behind Winbow. Meanwhile, Powell up into 7th place. He's got past Hutchinson then, so one M Science UK driver drops down, and at least one of them is able to take advantage of it. But I'm not sure whose fault that was. There was a good angle to see it from, and you could see how much slower Crouch was, and it made Lee have an opportunity to overtake, and Hutchinson tried to get involved. And they all came together, at least the latter two did, but Powell having an awesome run now, up into 7th. Mickey Owen and Gordon rounding out the top 10. As here comes Crouch on Van Ness. If anything, he's caught him a bit too early now, and he's not going to really have any overspeed. He's actually lifting out of the throttle, I think, is Crouch, in order to duck back in underneath. But Van Ness will go right to the inside. He's actually left a pass on the inside, but Crouch will go the long way round. A lot of speed carried for him, and this is how Janko managed to get past early on. He's just moving alongside, maybe a bit of contact between the two of them as they race through turn 3 and onto the back straight. But Van Ness holds on again, and he's still in 4th place, which would match his best result of the season.
Yeah, and at some point you've got to wonder if Crouch is just going to have to send one up the inside, because it might be the only way he can make a move stick is frighten him out of the way. Who knows? As they go through Ferradura, they're almost nose to tail. You mentioned, and Dean Powell's actually gained 10 positions since he started in the. And there's Winemaster off the circuit, the Canadian, and that was up at Ferradura as well, taking the scenic route. And Saltz looks like he's lost a place to Winbow, so Winbow is up into 11th. The BMW passed the Ford now.
Looks like Winbow was going backwards earlier on, didn't he? He got, I think he was overtaken by Sevi Sabe, wasn't he? And all of a sudden he's now ahead of, he's somehow got 4 cars between him and Sevi Sabe all of a sudden. So 11th place would be very good for Winbow, would be his 3rd best result of the season. I believe, after, of course, leading at Imola by 8 seconds before spinning in race 2.
Another strong race for Luke McCowan in 9th place. He's gained 5 places from where he started, and this is Winbow again now having to defend from Salt. Ahead of Lee and Wolf in 14th at the back of this group. Once again, Van der Nesse manages to get into turn 4 ahead of Crouch. And Adriansons has got up into 6th now, Sam, so ahead of Dean Powell. It's all happening everywhere we look, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely chaotic, this race 1. And of course, we've got a reverse grid race coming up. Race 2, almost twice the length, 40 minutes in length for race 2. Still got 9 more minutes of this one. And the range of positions of the reverse grid is between 12 and 24, I believe. And so, you want to be in the top 12. Just make sure you're in the top 12. Or 12th, yeah, 12th place is a good place to start, because either you'll be in pole position or you will be in at least in a decent position. You do not want to be down in 17th, 18th. Otherwise, there's a decent chance that you'll be starting from that position again come race 2. And crucially, McMahon up into 17th now, so he's almost. Chances are he will be within the reverse grid. So a good opportunity for him. Wolf now with Vinemaster right behind him. Vinemaster, who's down 3 places from his start, because we had that chaotic start. So there goes Lee, trying to get past Salt. Vinemaster's not going to get past Wolf here. So many side-by-side battles through the first few corners. It does pinch through turn 2, and yet the drivers leaving plenty of space for one another. Clearly plenty of experience for these drivers around this track. And they also in the same position. McCohen nearly got past Hutchinson just a moment ago. They're in 8th and 9th and still separated by about a 10th of a second. Oh dear, Holland. And he's down to 29th now for Indy Autosports. Only the 2 retirees, and yeah, Powell and Godsick, they will not score points for this round. Oh dear, that is off the track for Rista. Again, who had that off earlier on, was running in such a good 13th place. Was going to turn into 12th, I think, with Lee's incident, should it have still happened. Well, now he's down into 26th and unlikely to be within the reverse grid.
Yeah, he's 18 places down now from where he started, unfortunately for Rista. Not quite come together as he would have hoped. Edwards is chopping off a 10th or 2 a lap on Bodine. It was going it was just fractions on most of the laps, but then the last lap he gained 4 tenths. That's really put him in almost in touching distance of the race leader. But this is now Van der Nesse and Crouch might have finally done it, Sam, round the outside in turn 4. And oh, that was almost a late defence on Adrianson's as he was coming through. Now Adrianson's probably quite rightly is going to go try and throw one up the inside on the Larangina.
Atchinson's down in 34th in the championship. Only missed 1 round. Missed 2
That was
rounds,
last
sorry.
week, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, he missed Mosport and Nürburgring. But we have heard drop scores, so surprisingly he's got a best result of 9th. Albeit he's been relatively consistent in his other rounds, mainly in the top 20 places. This is what happened to Daniel Lee, because he is now down into 15th place. He's just been passed by Tom McMahon as well.
Yeah, McMahon, where's he sitting at the moment? 14th. So, slow progress early on, but he's picked them off over the last few laps. He's been helped by a couple of incidents. He's got to run on Max Wolf now. He's looking up the inside, and he's made it stick.
Yep, simple enough for McMahon. Up into 13th, 19 places gained. It's rare that you see that in this championship. In the ARLTC, it's quite common. We've had 40 places gained, even more than that. I think maybe 44. I think is the most I personally see. I'm sure Woody, you've seen more than that with the amount of races that you've covered. But 20 in this race is pretty good.
Yeah, I reckon. I think we should be happy with that. Oh, look at this. Lee trying to recover then. And trying to get past Max Wolf. It'll take more than that to blow that house down.
Well, here he goes again. Just going a bit too deep into some of these hairpins is Lee. Of course, you can see what he's trying to do. Of course, he's got going a lot of speed around the outside, but just pushing a little bit too hard and will be frustrated because, of course, he had that incident earlier on with Hutchinson. I don't think it was Lee's fault, but I'm not sure if the stewards will give Hutchinson a penalty for that one, as actually it's turn 13. That's rather easy for the M Science UK driver. And he goes on past Max Wolf. And this could be for a lucrative position in the reverse grid. These two could be up in the top positions, potentially. They have battled so hard, though, that Siri Sabe is back with them, and also Coles and Perry.
Yes, and see if Wolf can fight back on Lee down the Retta Reposta. Not quite. Sibi Sabo in the Porsche. Doesn't seem like this circuit's suiting the Porsche at this time. Most of them are routed to the bottom half of the field, unfortunately for them. Dean Powell's got past Hutchinson, I think. Yeah,
well, I think Powell just lost out to Mickey Owen, and he's lost out temporarily to Hutchinson, but he's been able to come back again. Remember, Powell, an amateur driver, last season, I think he finished 4th in the amateur championship. But really didn't show anything like this speed. I think Daniel Lee has probably helped him out in that regard, and also, of course, these guys drive in the World GT Championship, and I think he's had some good results in that, as Dean Powell, so getting some extra racing time, and he will undoubtedly get the promotion for next season, and be quite a dangerous customer next season.
Experience is a massive thing in these cars, isn't it? I mean, they seem they're easy to get in and drive, but not to drive fast. And Powell is proving that, yeah, that seat time making a big difference, as now we're into the nitty gritty of this one, mate. And Bodine and Edwards, well, they are within half a second. And it's going to be a good finish, isn't it? I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, and they've got nothing to lose, really. I get frustrated to say, I mean, honestly, in the Formula 1 earlier on, I was getting really annoyed with Martin and David. But enough about that. I could do a whole broadcast on that. But I do get a little bit frustrated when they make such a big deal out of 2nd place in the championship. It's like, I don't think they care that much. And of course, Bowden could get a top 3 in the championship, which maybe he cares about. But there's no prizes for it. I don't think he would mind.
But he's going to want the race win, right? If there's no prize, if there was a prize for third, then all good, really. But there isn't. So I would just go for the race win now and try and do everything possible to take the checkered flag first, because, yeah, playing it safe isn't going to get you anything on the final day of the season. The title has been decided. He started on pole position, Sam, so he's going to want to fight hard to keep it. He fought hard enough to build that lead up. Doesn't want to lose it in tame fashion, that's for sure.
Shows how competitive Bowden's been this season, and perhaps how misleading the points have been to McMahon. On the points make it look like McMahon's been dominant. But you think if Bowden had been able to win Imola race 2, when he was battling for the race win in the closing stage, I think collided when battling for the lead on the last lap. I mean, that he would already be on 3 wins, and McMahon would have 1 less win and would have 3, and wouldn't be put on 1 more. But this would be his 3rd win of the season, Bowden. This would be Edwards' first, and he is running out of time. Bowden's certainly the favourite from this point onwards. Edwards perhaps just needed 1 more lap. They both pick up a 1x. But they won't care about it through the left-hander, and that's 1 last push to the line. It's 3.5 tenths of a second. I don't think there's going to be a big enough draft effect to bring Taj Edwards back into this one, who has valiantly pushed, dropped down to 3rd, and moved up to 2nd later on. But out to the lead, Jonas Bowden takes his 3rd race win of the season. And that was a very hard-earned race win. Congratulations to him. Winbow with a late off. And that could be important for the reverse grid. He's lost out to Siri Sabe, Lee, Wolf, Saltz, and Coles as well. He will quickly pass him. Janko rounds out the podium for his first ever Apex Racing League podium. And here are the others. Powell top of the amateur drivers, and if the amateur championship wasn't already sealed, that has certainly sealed it now. Well done to Powell. And the others, well, just crossing the line. Rister and Kittelman will be the last drivers eligible in case we get a huge reverse grid. Yeah, pretty manic racing there out there with just loads of trains, which was odd to see. I mean, we did have a couple of drivers start from the pit lane, Godsick and McMahon, who are perhaps a bit out of position, but there just seem to be so many drivers out of position, so many drivers trying to make moves, and yet it looks extremely difficult to do. Really, point in case, Crouch taking half the race to overtake Van der Nesse.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed that one. I thought it was really good. It didn't quite light up though the way that we thought it might in the middle. As look at Steve Brown coming across, he's going to be the final one. Godsick was definitely out of position because he was rolling over and over, and I'm sure that's not the position he wanted to be in. But he'll get another chance, as will the rest of them. And this is how they finished. Jonas Bodin with the win, then 0.2 of a second ahead of Taj Edwards. They were the class of the field. 10 seconds separated them, and third placed Mohamed Janko. James Crouch finished fourth ahead of Van der Nesse, who put up a fantastic fight in the Performance Link car. Jensen Adriansen's up to 6th, and Luke McCowan in 7th. Dean Powell wins the AM category in 8th ahead of John Gordon. Mark Hutchinson in 10th, Tom McMahon in 11th, and James Salt 12th. 13th, Max Wolf ahead of Daniel Civi Sabo, teammates there, and Daniel Lee in 15th ahead of Adam Coles. Emil Winbo and Jaron Weinmaster then were 17th and 18th. 19th was Joseph Saul. 20th, Tom Stevens ahead of Tobias Olsen. Then it was John Tressida and Scott Rister, Kevin Kittelman and Ryan Jones. Tim Perry in front of Bingham, and then Justin Garrick. Derek Holland, we saw him off earlier on 29th. Steve Brown 30th. And then Aaron Powell and Artur Godsick were eliminated, as we saw earlier, in spectacular fashion.
Yeah, so they won't score points, but on the most part, a surprising amount of non-retirees. And it looks like going into turn 1, half the field wouldn't make it to turn 4. So I think that's a relief of how many drivers managed to get to the finish there. Honestly, guys, come on, we need to take appreciation of this, because next season we will most likely use the beta UI, the heat system, and in that system you've got to set the grid. And honestly, it is tempting to stay with this, but it's a little bit draconian, bit old-fashioned, and you do have this wait, and you got to set up another session or whatever. So, dare I say, for the foreseeable future, this might be the last reverse grid wheel that we get. Unfortunately, because I think this is the only league which still uses it.
I for one, am disappointed, but we must move with the times. I'm afraid.
With the time. We can get the Wheel of Fortune music.
Sadly, I am but a dinosaur of commentary, I'm afraid.
Yes. So, Sam Kume, and I think, Sam, you're the one who ought to spin it, saying that you've spun so many of these over the years. It is down to you to decide what the reverse grid for race 2 is going to be.
Yeah, I think you're right. This will be the last reverse grid wheel that we'll have, and it's going to be sad to see it go, but hey, that's the way it is. So let's just spin it and see what we get. Oh, almost missed the music.
Thank goodness.
Okay, it is 18.
Well, I hope everyone enjoyed that. That was good fun. 18. Bang in the middle. Classic reverse grid. Totally random. And Vinemaster will be on pole position then. Joseph Saul and Tom Stevens miss out, but it'll be Vinemaster from the pole. Winbo in second place. He could be dangerous. Lee starting from 4th. And McMahon as well, starting from 8th. So very unpredictable. Few drivers out of position. That could be a very fun race 2 coming out. Of course, 40 minutes in length. You do not want to miss it. We'll be back on Apex Racing TV and on the iRacing Esports Network in just a bit. See you back racing. Welcome back to the Apex Racing League GT Championship, live on Apex Racing TV and live on the iRacing Esports Network. We are just preparing for the last race of the championship. We have had 15 races already this season, and this final one at Interlagos will round out this season 3 of this particular championship. Once again, my name is Sam Fitzpatrick. Once again, alongside me is Andrew Woodhouse, Sam Kume operating the cameras, and we have got a 40-minute race to finish out the season. And that race one, it was tricky to tell who was the fastest guys out there, to be honest, Woody, because I think McMahon is going to be quick, but then we saw the top two really pulling away. But then I think the likes of maybe Hutchinson, Lee, and Crouch were all held up for so long in that race one. Maybe they've got secret pace as well, which they could show in this race too.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of drivers sort of bottled up in the middle of the field, didn't we? Who maybe slipped back at the beginning. So we'll see if they can make their way through. Yaron Winemaster is on pole with Emil Wimbo in second, Adam Coles third, the highest of the AM drivers. Daniel Lee in fourth, Daniel Civisabo in fifth, with his teammate Max Wolf alongside him in sixth. Then it's the Evo SR teammates, James Salt and Tom McMahon in seventh and eighth. Ninth for Mark Hutchinson, John Gordon in 10th, Dean Powell in 11th, the second AM on the grid, Luke McCowan 12th, 13th Jensen Adriansens, and then Chris van der Nesse, James Crouch, Mohamed Yanko, Taj Edwards in 17th, and race one winner Jonas Bodin in 18th. Joseph Saul is 19th, then it's Tom Stevens ahead of Tobias Olsen and John Tressida, with Scott Rister in 23rd and Kevin Kittelman 24th. 25th is Ryan Jones, Tim Perry 26th in the Ferrari, then it's Tom Bingham in 27th, Justin Garrick in 28th, Derek Holland then 29th, and Steve Brown follows in 30th. Aaron Powell is 31st, and then Artur Gudzik is 32nd, and Sam, will be hoping that he makes it to the end of this one. There's not a repeat of the barrel roll in race one.
Yeah, because he started race 2 at Race America, the first race 2 that we had of the season, in a pretty good place. He went on to win that race. I doubt he will win this one. Already a bit of butt jumping up, and
Winemaster is bothering the safety car, isn't he? He's right alongside the safety car, which, wow.
The safety car needs to go faster, guys. I'm losing heat to the tyres.
Dear. The tyres, Bonner, the tyres are fine, apparently. Sometimes as well.
Well done on
anyway,
by the way.
No,
he's listening.
Could be.
From the pole position, and we had the big jump up, of course, in race 1, where the green flag came out really surprisingly early for myself, at least. I thought it'd come out very late. So watch for the front runners if they can react a little bit better this time, as the Mustang pace car pulls into the pits for the final time, and we are about to get racing for 40 minutes of action at Interlagos. And again, we got a really bad jump, and we need to hope that we get through the first couple of corners cleanly. Great start for Salt though to gain a few places. Also really good start for Mickey Owen as well.
Wide in the middle.
To drop down into the outskirts of the top 10, but there's still Winemaster leading the way. Round though is Gordon, who is dropping
Porsche
down.
off at the back, and two more.
And Rudin are having some troubles as well. We've got a lot of cars off the track, lots of separate incidents, and this is really what we're expecting to see in race 1. Fortunately, we got away with it, but race 2, it has certainly come to play. But out in the lead, it's Winemaster leading the way. 4 tenths of a second clear of Windbay. Then it's Lee, Coles, Salt with a good start, Civi Sabo, McMahon with an all-right start, actually, after I think initially getting bogged down. And Edwards up 3 paces, Perry up 9, and Godsig already up 11.
Yeah, great starts for them, threading the way through the carnage. Was a bit of carnage, wasn't it? There was a Porsche spun before we even got into turn 1. There were 2 more in turn 2, and then a couple more in turn 3. There's Aaron Powell. See the damage on his Ford. The front is crumpled, the rear wing is damaged. So he must have hit something quite hard, and maybe been hit as well, and that's Max Wolf in the grass, coming out of Magulho. So yeah, we see people spinning through there occasionally, especially if the tyres aren't quite right.
That's the lead by Master versus Winbo. Winbo's got himself into a few collisions so far this season, but has improved in recent rounds. Can't get past Master there. He's got to get past immediately. Cannot waste any time about this. Winbo with the strong straight line speed of the BMW.
Oh,
Could legitimately fight for the race win here, but here comes Lee. He gets a much better run through turn 3, and he's surely going to be able to move up into second place. Master will have to keep an eye on his mirrors here, but Winbo with a slight advantage down the strip with the toe, and he remains in second place. That's very impressive there from the Apex Racing Academy driver.
Yes, Sam, sorry I butted in there, but Winbo nearly lost it right in the middle of Curva de Sol. It's not the place you want to have a tank slapper. And again in Ferradura, and he's going to have to go for it because he outbraked himself, I think. He was out of shape, and he ended up going for the overtake.
And that's a slide for Master. He's sure going to lose out to Lee as well. Can he cover him off in time? Lee will go for it, and I think Lee is up into second place, which is good for him. Lee, of course, won the endurance round we had at Rose Atlanta after an early spin, and he is giving himself a chance here as well. Meanwhile, McMahon, the long way round against Coles, and McMahon will have a much better exit, one would think. Instead, though, here comes James Salt on the pair of them. McMahon gets the message that's 3 wide, gives a big berth, and that was brilliant there from James Salt. Really good exit. It wasn't easy because it wasn't a bad exit for the others. And apologies, that was McMahon getting past Salt then. So that was the other way round between the Evo cars. And he's
dragged him along. He dragged him along in that slipstream, Sam, so he gave him a chance at the Porsche, gave Salt the opportunity, couldn't quite get it done.
McMahon's got to hold off against Coles, who's relatively new to the series because his debut season, so he may not have the same respect for McMahon as some of the other guys as Salt. Ooh, that was always going to be a closing gap. That was very ambitious, and it's left him a bit vulnerable now from Civiso. Might have to look behind us because we've got Civiso and McKeown all over the back of us here.
Yeah, great camera angles here, showing the viewpoint of Luke McCowan here, who set the fastest lap, 129.04, half a second quicker than anybody else. I think it was an invalidated lap potentially, but still very quick from the man who won race 2 last time out of the Nürburgring. He goes up the inside of Sivi Sabo, and that one is done and dusted. And Hutchinson is now trying as well on the Hungarian, but Sivi Sabo maintains 8th place. And that was a twitch for Coles, I think, Sam, and that's going to allow Salt a chance to the slipstream.
Yeah, I think this is only a matter of time. Ooh, Salt wants to go down the inside, didn't he? But there's a wall in the way. So you go the long way round. Coles, though, doing well. Salt will be partially alongside. Coles can't quite close the line, but he doesn't leave a car's width to the line at least, but he did leave space on the curb, and that has held up Salt quite a bit. Here comes McMahon sprinting away from these drivers. McKeown looking down the inside, he doesn't go for it though. I mean, Salt and McKeown I think are very evenly matched. Salt just cannot get past Coles here, but maybe he's got past him this time. Much better speed through 5, has a little bit of a shove across the right, and he is past, and now McKeown will take advantage.
Yeah, he's done well there. Now on the outside. Oh, he's thinking of a lunge here, the Porsche of Coles, having a look. Gowan keeps that one and stays in 6th position. Oh, very late on the brakes for Taj Edwards. As, almost collects Hutchinson into the Pico di Pato, the Duck's Beak, of course.
I'm just trying to think what does it look like a duck's beak? I'm not sure if I see it.
I mean, I guess.
What the downhill one is called that?
The tighter one, the second one before Magulo.
Yeah, I kind of see that. As Hutchinson on Coles. Coles just going down the order. Least 8th, and then has the inside for 2. Oh, and that was almost an unsafe kind of rejoin on source control. Now here comes Edwards, but I think Edwards is going to get boxed in, and getting past the loss
gets out.
is Hutchinson's. He doesn't get boxed in the end, Edwards, and he might gain a couple of places in quick succession. Adrianson's having a great day of it. 7th in race 1, I believe. And he is up into 10th momentarily in race 2.
Yeah, he's had some cracking...
That's
some cracking race pace, Adrianson's, hasn't he? Oh, there's a big twitch there by Adrianson's, just as we say so. Van der Nesse through into 11th position. And Hutchinson just in front.
Very close for the lead. I think they're side by side for a moment. But just separating out again, 1/4 of a second. As we see a replay, that this is how Wimbo managed to defend against Lee for quite a few corners.
Yeah, up the inside into Larangina. But still, the defence was made by Wimbo. And yeah, into the lead.
McMahon's nearly caught up to them on that last lap, gained 7/10. But to be fair, the laps previous to that, they weren't being caught by too much. Lee, of course, remarkably, he's only won 1 race in this championship, please. He's been one of the most competitive drivers in this race since his debut back midway through season 1. And only 1 race win, despite probably about 10 podiums in that time. This is another podium looking good for him, but I'm sure he would love a 2nd race win and a 1st race 2 victory as well on his resume. Wimbo playing his car slightly in the middle of the track, and no way past Paul Lynn. We're seeing the same thing again. I don't understand it, Woody. I don't know why you can't overtake around this place, but it can be tricky to do.
Yeah, it always feels like a track where you can pass. There's the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache, but up the inside for Daniel Lee, full lock on the curb, uses the curb to pull himself around. Now they're side by side down the hill in Magulo. Is he still alongside into Junshao? No, he's not. So Wimbo maintains 1st place for now, but the slipstream is going to be in play for Lee. And that big BMW bearing down on us. Like a great black, pink and green shark. He doesn't cover the line entirely, Wimbo. He didn't go to the white line. And Daniel Lee might take advantage of that. Goes up the inside. Oh, bit of contact. And through for the Englishman then. And, well, got feisty in the middle of the centre S. And here comes McMahon.
Here he goes into 4. Wimbo might let this one go a little bit easier, anything but. And he holds on, brilliant driving there from Wimbo. Squeezed McMahon very much there. McMahon didn't want contact, and they stay in the same order. But that was Montoya Schumacher crossing it down into turn 1, circa 2001. And just showing off slightly, but I think he left enough room, but it was tight. Oh,
there isn't. Oh, wide. There is a natural understeer in the centre S in turn 1, and yeah, maybe Daniel Lee fell foul of that a little bit. He's got 0.8 of a second on McMahon now, so he'll be looking to build that gap if he can. McMahon will be looking to keep him in his sights. This is side by side between Winemaster and Taj Edwards. Edwards goes round the outside, and he's showing his quality in spades in this race, Sam, as he's up into 7th place. He started in 17th.
Yeah, this is, ever since Edwards can come back, dare I say he's better than he was before. I think certainly racecraft and consistency has got better. Here he comes across, that's definitely straight line speed for the BMW, because he wasn't even worried about catching Coles. And Coles makes a mistake for himself, skating across the grass. That's tarmac nowadays, and it's not in the sim though. And Coles...
He's just about got away with that.
Yeah, had some big crashes there. Meanwhile, Bowden in 14th place. I struggle to even remember what happened to Bowden.
Well, that was
just got caught up, but of course he did start quite far down.
Well, that was the next point I was going to make. Was he's gone up from 18th on the grid, so he's made some decent progress. Remember, people he started around were obviously the people who he was battling with in the previous race. So, and often in the reverse grid races, that's the hardest part, because those immediately around you in theory, are on the same pace as you. As this is Tom Stevens trying to stay ahead of Adriansons, who's recovering.
Adriansons, what happened to Adriansons? He was up into like 10th at one point, wasn't he? But
Yeah, he.
I can't recall what happened.
We might see it here, actually.
Aha.
I wonder if he's had an incident and then he's maybe overheated the tyres. That's the same as Cole's, isn't it? Except he came back on with a bit more confidence and ended up not having that little half spin, but losing out to Bodine and Stevens. Side by side, Sam, now between Adriansons and Stevens, and Adriansons makes it stick. Oh no, he does not. It goes off, and really suffering. No anti-lock brakes, Sam, as you mentioned, and yeah, going off in the centre S. It looks like a tricky part of the circuit for these drivers today.
Yeah, going too much speed in, and
Whoa!
lost out again. Lots of movement from. Yeah, that was Gordon, wasn't it? He tries to get past Adrianson. Hasn't done though. So
no, that was Crouch who was flitting
Really?
about, I think, on the straight. Yep.
And here comes Coles again against Godsick, who started from last place. Of course, Godsick going the long way round. Has to do plenty of work so far as Godsick. Starts from the back in race 1.
Oh, hello.
Race 2. And that was quite pretty, wasn't it? That
Synchronous spinning.
But, well, I don't think they'll be thinking that way. Godsick and Adriansons, both with problems. They're down to 24th and 26th.
Oh, he's lost the tyres, Adriansons, hasn't he? He's had a couple of half little incidents. He's had that lock up. He's gone off the circuit. He's got dirt on the tyres. Now he's overheated them, and this is the battle for the lead.
Yep, Lee taking a very tight line. I think that's overly tight, and here comes McMahon. Might take advantage of it. Lee will stay alongside through 2. McMahon always leaving a space though for his rival. And he might have to get a bit more aggressive there, McMahon. But that was a mistake there from Lee, and I hope he learns from that. He was way too tight into turn 1. He had to get on the bricks really early just to make sure that he made the corner. Could have moved much further to the right in the entry.
But if you remember, what did I say about Winbo? That he didn't go all the way to the white line. He left the space to defend. He left the space open, and that's how Lee got past him. So Lee all the way over to the white line. I do agree with it, and it did work because he's still ahead of Tom McMahon. McMahon's trying the big long way round. He's lucky he didn't actually just understeer straight into the side of Lee there, because I know I probably would have done.
Look at Mickey Owen as well, catching up to these guys. He's going to be in this lead battle any moment now. Mickey Owen, he hadn't got a podium until race 2 last time out at Nürburgring. I don't know, maybe if you're a good luck charm, would he? But ever since then, he's turned on another level. He's passing with some of the best drivers in the league. And the top 4 now separated by about a second and a half. Salts as well. He was with McMahon earlier on. Remember, they were battling side by side earlier on, but Salt's been left behind. But he'll be catching as well, and also Edwards as well, strong in 6th.
So can we clear this up? Is it Mickey Owen? Is that the actual pronunciation? Because I think you said it differently last week. I don't know what the right one is. I might be his good luck charm, but I want to get his name right.
I think it is Mickey Owen, but I'm too lazy.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Please tell us, Luke. See if we can get an interview with him, and we'll see if we can actually get the pronunciation there, the right one. Lee's staying with McMahon then, and these two have had some good battles over the last couple of seasons, I'll tell you that. Daniel Lee, we know him now quite well. He's not one to shy away from fighting against a title holder.
Yeah, of course, Mosport was a particularly good one when Lee went for an overtake with a couple of laps to go when he was faster than McMahon. That was when he still hadn't won a race, and he got alongside and just spun at the crucial point for the penultimate corner. And then, of course, Road Atlanta, he managed to get his vengeance when he held off McMahon, a hard-charging McMahon in the closing stages, won by
a good run here.
a quarter of a second. He is going to try to come back. Of course, McMahon taking the lead earlier on in this lap at turn 4. And now Lee, with that pace in the BMW, Maybe it's not quite so pronounced as we've seen earlier on, though. Only 0.2 of a second. He has a look to the inside, but he doesn't go for it. Winbo very close to the back, and that was nearly contact. But Winbo looking quick, 29.6 that last time round. Edwards, the fastest driver on track, at 29.2. I don't think anyone's going to be in the 28s, though, so Winbo with very strong pace. Here comes Mickey Owen, though, going for third place, and he could definitely, probably a better shout at the race win than Winbo, I think, as he looks to the
that's close.
side, just has to back out of it, and Winbo stays in third.
Might have just been some contact there as well. It was very slight if there was. Tars Edwards is up to 5th, and he's just got ahead of James Salt. So the Jamaican up into the top 5 from 17th on the grid. Very good effort indeed. Who else is on the move? Tim Perry's made 14 positions in the only Ferrari in the field. I think that's worth a round of applause for the boosted driver. And he is indeed. It looks like he's working on Dean Powell now. See if he can get in another place.
This has been one of Perry's best drives of the season. As I scramble to see what his best result so far this season is. He has had actually an 8th and a 9th. And he's also had a 12th and a 14th and a 15th and a couple of 18ths. 2 12ths, in fact. So he's consistently around this area.
He's got his hands full now, though, mate. He's got the race 1 winner behind him.
Yeah, currently 23rd in the championship, going up against Bowden, who came into this round in 5th in championship. All very close in those higher up positions, besides Mark, of course, who has already sealed the title. Slightly a defensive line there, Perry. I'm not sure if he had to do that. Middle of the track. And now they've got to be careful with Stevens just about making his way past. And that was very unfortunate for Perry. That might be a curse. And Power with a little bit of an unsafe rejoin as well. Though, if you are going to do a 180 turn into oncoming traffic, that is the best way to do it. Perry rejoins the race.
Fair play to Scott Rister, who Kimi Räikkönen through the cloud of smoke in turn 3, possibly not knowing what was on the other side. Rister and Powell now together, 22nd and 23rd. It says Derek Holland's crashed, and he has. He's dropped down behind John Tressida. So what's happened to Derek Holland? Well, it's at Desida de Largo, Sam. We've seen a few problems there in this meeting so far.
Yeah, mainly solo spins in that corner. And I assume that is another one. We're still only halfway through this race, of course. And so much has happened already. Hutchinson onto the back of Findmaster. He's actually had a bit of, a bit of a cool down period after being smoked at the start. He is going to be overtaken by Hutchinson, though. Here he goes. Only 10 seconds off the lead as well, which shows how quick all of these drivers are. Findmaster, perfect line through turn 1, but Hutchinson, as if he had a quick boost of engine power there, sprints through turn 3. And is in 7th place. Van der Nesse as well, going to be moving past. There's a rival Findmaster with a slight toe, though, from the Ford GT ahead. Might just help him keep that place. Van der Nesse was very strong in race 1, got 4th position. Still, that's a elusive podium yet to get to him.
I think it was 5th, mate. Sorry to.
Now, did you have to correct me on that?
I didn't have to, but
no, you should. I think let me. I've had this conversation with Adam Hedgecock already. If either of us make a mistake, just let the audience think that we got it right. There's no need to correct that,
Well, there might be a bloke behind the curtain somewhere as well, but we don't open that up either. But he did a good job. I just remembered it was 5th because he did get passed, didn't he, by Crouch, I believe. In the fairly late going, but this is another strong race for him though. Well inside the top 10. Winemaster has got his hands full now with Mohamed Yanko, one of the fastest drivers in this field, and we'll see what he can do into the first corner. Is he going to go for it, Yanko? I think he is, but he's going to have a better line through too, Sam. So he's going to set up Winemaster nicely through Curva de Sol.
Yeah, surprising that the drivers have been almost struggling to turn there. I mean, with that downforce of these cars, you'd think it'd be easy flat, but the rear end just getting away occasionally. That is brave
Oh, he's,
from Janko.
oh,
And
he was
he's
almost out of control.
Yeah, that was a long way back, especially in these cars. But
Oh, he's fighting back.
Reinmaster coming back again, maybe a little bit aggrieved with the audacity of that move.
Oh,
And now they make
take that.
contact. And, well, if this one isn't already personal, the flashing of the lights confirms that it definitely is now. And these guys could start losing each other quite a bit of time. Bowden catching up quick.
If a racing car had a middle finger, flashing the lights would be it.
I'm waiting for iRacing to add that feature.
The Heinz Harald Frentzen special. Oh dear.
Didn't really call Todd to it one time.
Yeah, he did.
I think
Michael,
that's right, yeah.
as he was passing Michael Schumacher. Yes, he did. Called him all sorts, if I remember. Very good. You can't really do that these days because I think the halo would get in the way, wouldn't it? I don't think hand signals would be very visible. Well, there might be some more hand signals in a minute because Janko's through. This time it's a clean move. And although Winemaster Sam has got a great run out of 2. And this might continue for a while.
You think that Janko has the position now. Here, contact again.
Oh, no.
Oh, that was a bit silly. I don't know what. The hand seemed to come across a second time there. Almost just as a second reminder that you ought to go off the track.
Oh.
And, now we have Janko crashing into an invisible wall, I think. And he's on his roof.
I think what was happening there, we'll have to see the replay, but it looked like Janko was easing him off the track as he got eased off before. Which I guess is sort of fair-ish. You're just easing him onto the...
But it's that second one.
I don't think he was coming across. I think he was going straight, and I think he just got quarter panelled. That's what it looks like. It was all a bit, yeah, and that's stupid. But it's all a bit silly. It was all a bit silly on both accounts, I think.
Yeah, could have done a bit better. And well, they both lost out due to it, and particularly Janko, who clearly was not pleased with that. It's only Sabo versus Wolf. That's Wolf getting past up into the top 10 now. With everything else that is going on, these guys gain a few more places. Bowden up into 9th as well. By the way, the race lead 0.6 of a second between McMahon and Lee. Stayed competitive. Lee just about within draft range, and on that last lap, about 0.5 quicker. There is a move from Gordon. Well, I don't know if it's the last race or something, but there's some very ambitious moves and some very good moves as well. A lot of them getting done on the braking area. So I'm not happy with that, but that's just that was bad. I was within the rules.
That was a great move. Really enjoyed that one. I'm pretty sure John Gordon did as well. I think the drivers realised in race 1 that this isn't going to be quite as easy to overtake as what they maybe anticipated, so maybe having to change some of their tactics. And you know what? I said, didn't I, in race 1? Maybe someone just needs to send one up the inside. So it does work when you get it right, but you have to make sure that you block the corner off. You know, too many drivers will do. It's a little pet peeve of mine, especially in iRacing. They'll do a move up the inside, and it will just be a half move, and they'll be far too gentlemanly, and they'll leave too much room, and then the other driver will be able to come back as Gordon absolutely snaking around like a MotoGP bike under braking for turn 1. You've got to really go for the inside, Sam. You've got to block off the apex, and you've got to block off your rival. You know, cleanly, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember the last time I overtook another driver, so it doesn't apply to me.
Neither can I, actually.
I mean, I don't know about you. I'm constantly in pole position, so it's
There you go.
quite easy for myself. No, I wish. I honestly, I can't remember the last time I know. I honestly cannot remember the last time I got a pole position. Though I think it was probably in the rookie street stocks at Charlotte. I imagine. Great fun those races. I recommend them.
Oh yeah.
By the way, I think I'm 2.2k on ovals, and I've never not done a rookie race. So I'm just really good at avoiding crashes.
Yeah.
It's good fun. It's good fun.
That's half the battle in those
Yeah.
categories, I tell you. In the legends and things like that, avoiding the incidents just as much as, you know, pulling off great overtakes. Tom McMahon sets the fastest lap then, so look to be coming into the sweet spot for the tyres and the fuel in this 40-minute race, and Tom McMahon extends the lead to 1.4 seconds. Daniel Lee still very much in with a chance of winning this one, but just going to have to find a 10th or two. As McMahon, that was half a second that time he took out of Lee, so it had been 8 tenths.
Gordon getting past Wolf eventually. Great to see Gordon back up there. He did the first couple of rounds, but then had to pull out of the championship. Then came back a couple of meetings ago. Very much a veteran of the series. I think he's been around since American GT a few seasons ago. That was started about a year ago or so. So been around for a while. Gordon's best result this season has been a 23rd. He's had 2 of them, but even in that regard, I think he'll be a little bit frustrated.
That's not representative of someone of his talent, I don't think.
I mean,
not
he
at all.
did finish race 1.
Oh, John Tressider's crashed. Sorry, Sam.
I did. Where is...
There's a couple of places gone for him.
And he's back to the pits.
Oh, and that looks like a lot of damage. I wondered if he's going to go get the old tank slapper on coming out of Yunshao and potentially get the little wiggle of death. Well, it hasn't happened yet. Should be quite interesting. Into turn 1, I wonder if that's going to be the... Oh, we've got it now. It's turn... No, is it going to be in turn 2? Oh, it's going to be Curva de Sol, isn't it? Yep. It's going to bite its death wiggle. There we go. Bang. Up and over. Oh, it lands nicely back on its wheels, but that's the end of the day for John Tressider.
Some big crashes today.
We've had a few cars rolling over. That's like 3 so far.
I mean, one of them you can understand because they deliberately drove into the wall at 150 miles an hour. But the other 2 were a bit unusual.
One was not deliberately driving into the wall at 150 miles an hour. Dear me. That was a big one for Godsick in race 1. I tell you, he's up to 17th in this one. He started 32nd, so he's done a good job of getting through the first half an hour unscathed. Darren Powell, in fact, started just 1 place ahead of him and still 1 place ahead.
Edwards finally catching up to Winbo and Mickey Owen. It's been a constant quarter of a second, and now on lap 21 he's been able to get that gap from about 4 or 5 seconds. It was at 1.5 seconds down to nothing. And but of course he's got to try to get past. And the problem for him is that of course Winbo's probably half a second elapsed, maybe 4 tenths slower. But then Mickey Owen's only 2 tenths of a second slower. And of course he needs probably a good half a second in order to make him move comfortably at least. Otherwise you're going to have to work hard for it. So Edwards might struggle here in order to clear these 2 drivers. And might be a little bit annoyed if he doesn't come away here with a race win, albeit he might be the highest point scorer if he can finish in 3rd place, seeing that he did finish runner-up back in race 1. Winbo all over the place, and Mickey Owen will take advantage of that one. Winbo with the better line. This is usually the place that you want to be for the Apex Racing Academy driver. And he covers that one off. Will probably put his car on the inside. No, he's left the door open, and Mickey Owen will take advantage of that if he can. But again, Winbo just really good at leaving a space and carrying good speed on the outside. and he stays ahead. Now, you want to be behind at this point as a bit of a tap potentially for Mikio, but it's going to be poor exit for him. It's going to be poor exit for Winbo as well. And Edwards has got to try to do something with this, but it's all very dangerous through turn 13. Here comes Edwards, who's going to box in Mikio and Winbo, all going 3 wide into turn 1. Mikio going the long way round. Winbo's been in this position so many times today in race 1 and now race 2. But he is ahead still. And Edwards probably getting a taste of what this battle is going to have to, what he's going to have to do in this battle. It's going to take a lot of effort to get past these guys.
Yeah, Edwards has now got the inside line into Interlagos. And he's going to get through here. And then with no resistance this time. And again, it's one of those situations. He tries to make a move on the car in front and then loses a place as a result. It's one of the most frustrating things that can happen to you out on the track. And however, Taj Edwards, he's not going to be frustrated at all, Sam, because he's up into 4th and he's got a shot at the bubbly.
Yeah, one more place to go. By the way, through turn 4, we saw, I think, all of the drivers track extending and picking up a 1x. The deterrent for that is you get penalty points. So if you for every 10 incidents you get 5 penalty points. By the way, a race win is worth 60 points. So it does make a bit of a dent. However, for next season, there will be drive-through penalties awarded, probably for maybe when you get to 20 incidents, you'll get a drive penalty, just so that drivers don't accumulate them, because that point penalty isn't quite as a deterrent at the end of the championship. When of course you've got not a whole lot to fight for, especially for someone like Edwards, who of course has missed half the season. Vinemaster started 19th now. I don't know how Vinemaster lost all those places, because he was losing a few. But
had the crash with Yanko, didn't he?
Of course. Well, he's done well, to be fair, to be 18th after that.
He's got a V-shaped dent in the front of his BMW. Oh, speaking of track limits, actually, as Joseph Saul comes up the inside, and that's what I was talking about, Sam. If you're going to go up the inside, be decisive, get it done. And he has. He might be under threat down the Reta Reposta, though, now. He's going to stick to the outside line. He might be going 3 wide into Interlagos, but it looked like Cole's decided to stay behind. Because I've descended into madness, I think. When you're oh, big lunge from Cole's. That's a good move, isn't it? Good move in the end, getting through there on Winemaster. When you were on about track limits, Sam, did you see the bloody track limits extensions that were going on in Spa this weekend for the whatever it was, intercontinental nonsense, or whatever it was?
I saw a bit of it. I quite like the IndyCar ruling. So you know at COTA in IndyCar,
they just go where they want, don't they?
That's how I like it personally. You make the limits for yourself, and I think whenever you don't need to enforce it, don't enforce it. Here is Edwards, Edwards on Winbo. Winbo nearly got quarter panel, then he's just
and again
ahead. That was so close. Of course, you're relying so much on your spots in that scenario. Just say, car on your right, and if you don't get that message, you're coming off.
Oh, slay on the brakes.
Oh, that wasn't a context. Of course, Edwards based in Jamaica, our only ARL Jamaican driver, I believe, and so of course always the risk of net code, but it shouldn't be too bad. About 300 ping, I imagine, for Edwards out there, so it shouldn't be too bad.
Yes, always does a good job, does Taj Edwards. I can tell you the ping is 200 for him, and 166 for United States and Canada, it looks like on here as well. There you go. Good run though he's got. Oh, just go to the inside, maybe in the hope that he gets through. I do have a counterpoint for your track limits thing in that I don't know why in recent years, see what Edwards does here into the Lago, goes to the outside of Wimbo. Wimbo's let on the brakes, so is Edwards. Tries to cut back, can't quite get the drive he wants as the beautiful golden hue descends on the circuit here in Brazil. But yeah, I don't know why in recent years it's been, oh, you need to keep 4 wheels on the curb. Surely it should be, you need to keep some wheels inside the white line. Surely. I don't know why they've then extended it to the curb. They shouldn't be on the curb in the first place. Really?
I like as little restriction as.
You mean you like to cheat? Because that's what they're doing. He's cheating. I mean, that's ridiculous, isn't it? Being over there is ridiculous, I think. And again, you can get away with it here on iRacing because they have a defined system of off tracks, right? So you can get away with that. But I just think that the white lines define the racing surface. So if you can put wheels on the curb, but I don't think you should ever have 4 wheels on the curb. And to me, that should be easy to. That would be easy to police, in my view, especially for Formula 1, where people have to be explained the rules and things like that, and it's going to get a lot more casual fans tuning in for the first time and wondering why there's a track that's there and people are going off left, right, and centre whenever they want.
Here comes, this is Powell and also, what I would say, it's actually also Crouch as well.
That was good from...
With Sibi Sabo here. Crouch making his way up after a few issues earlier on. Started in 15th place, of course, a very strong race 1 result for him, finishing in 4th place.
See the power of the BMW there, Sam. That's what you were saying before. Illustrated quite nicely and how easily he got alongside. Maybe he can power up the hill towards Ferradura and get some kind of overlap before the double apex right-hander. They're fast. Long, fast bend, but into Laranjina goes Sibi Sabo, and he remains in 12th place. Started in 5th, did the man from Hungary.
As a counterpoint to your
That's my counterpoint.
I would say if you've got the track and then the curb, and it's quite a big curb, but then you've got grass beyond that.
Yeah.
What's the point in restricting the drivers to be within the track limits when you can so easily define the track limits as the physical boundaries of the grass? You know?
Yeah,
That was evident at Portimao as well, actually.
No, but I think you should be able to use the curb. But I think you shouldn't be 4 wheels on the curb. As in terms of cutting in terms of like, you know, running like there, like when McKeown is.
And McKeown up into 3rd place. It's just overtaken Winbo and Edwards in 1. He's taken 39 minutes to get past Winbo, and he gets Edwards done simultaneously as well.
Look at this.
Up into 3rd position. Here comes Winbo. This is his favourite move. He loves going the long way round there and then getting the inside for the next corner.
Get some nice camber in there in that left-hander, don't you? And that really pulls you round and gives you a nice slingshot, especially when you're battling someone. It's nice to feel the track kind of almost helping you out, chasing down the car in front. Tom McMahon, though, Sam, is coming round. He's going to win the race. That's Flanbach.
Yeah, it was a disappointing end to last season. Looks as though he's going to get his 10th win of the season, but retired due to hardware failure. But there's going to be a race win to finish off his winning championship season. Tom McMahon wins at Interlagos Race 2. It is his 5th race win of the championship, and it was a very well earned 8th on the grid. Mickey Owen gains 2 places on the last lap to get 3rd place, only 2nd podium of the season. Certainly going to be a force to be reckoned with for next season. He's delighted with that. Winbo still not yet with a podium, but repeats his best result of the season. Salt in 6th place, Hutchinson 7th, and Gordon rounding out the top 10. Powell will hold off Crouch to the line, even though that BMW will be storming up to the back of him at the end. He hasn't got enough overspeed though. It is Powell in 13th, which is a good effort considering the damage that he sustained in the early stages. Saul was very close to Coles, but it is Saul just ahead of Coles to finish top of the amateur drivers. And we haven't said that enough about Joe Saul. He was my favourite for the amateur championship going into this season. Hasn't quite turned out that way, but that is a nice way for him to end the season in 18th place overall for the British driver. And that is the end of the season then. That is the almost all the drivers across. Let's see if Holland and Brown have a bit of excitement across the line. Doesn't look like they are the two teammates. Or just come home line astern. They might even do a little bit of photo finish. Didn't lose the place though. Oh, I think Holland held on to that one, but it was quite close. It was 6/100ths of a second, which was very close between the pair of them. And there is Dean Powell doing the donuts, because we can confirm that Dean Powell is the amateur champion for this season. He has improved immensely, has Dean Powell, and with a very strong result in race 1, along with many strong results throughout the season. 2 podiums, of course, for him, and as an amateur driver, no amateur driver has ever done that in this championship. And of course, we've had drivers like Bob Humphrey, of course, take part, and many other very strong amateur drivers, and no one's done that feat. So that is very impressive from Powell, who takes a well-deserved title for himself. So congratulations to him. And I think we can pretty much confirm as well that Evo SR are the team's champions. There's Evo SR and there's Evo SR Green, but both of them were strong. Evo SR winning out. Congratulations to them on another title to go with their Season 2 title. And I believe they won in Season 1 as well. So I have really locked out that category once again. And here are the final results. Tom McMahon, car number 1, winning out the championship winner. Daniel Lee pushed him hard, but was just lacking a couple of tenths a lap. Still a strong second place for him. And I believe that might be second place in the championship as well for Lee. I will try to sort that out during the interviews. Luke McKeown rounds out the podium. Another great result for him. Emil Winbo was in 4th. Then it was Taj Edwards, James Saltz, Mark Hutchinson, Chris Van der Nesse, Jonas Bowden, and John Gordon rounding out the top 10. Then it was Max Wolf, Daniel Sivi-Sabo, Aaron Powell, James Crouch, Tom Stevens, Tobias Olsen, Arthur Godsick. Joseph Saul was top of the amateur drivers. Adam Coles was in 19th place overall. Then it was Scott Rister, Yaron Rhinemaster, Tim Perry, Dean Powell, Ryan Jones, Justin Garrick, Derek Holland, Steve Brown, and Tom Bingham in 28th place. Oh, also there was Bingham. Did he finish race? Yeah, he was only 1 lap down, so he'll score points. Chester, Mohamed Janko, apologies, Jensen Adjensons, and Kevin Kitzman didn't finish the race. But remarkably few incidents, considering the 2 starts that we had. Chaos at the start, so we might get a bit of an insight from some of the drivers for that one. We are going to have with a couple chat with a couple of our drivers, and first up, I once again get the honours of talking to him. Tom McMahon is in for a talk with us. Congratulations, Tom. The other drivers had to pull in a lot of money to get that penalty for yourself, but it didn't stop you taking another race win.
That was a lot better performance. Yeah, I was expecting it. It was shocking driving from me. But the goal was always race 2. Race 1 was just get as high as you can, and then race 2 kind of felt like good during the week in terms of like practice pace. Obviously, you don't know. Because we don't really all race together, so it's good when you come into the weekend, and then during practice, because I was obviously always just practicing on race fuel, that I was the quickest, so I was like, okay, this could go quite well, and then it turned out well.
So race 1 first up. Your start was a bit underwhelming. Of course, you started on the pits. You only gained about 2 places in the first 5 minutes or so, and then you just seem to, pick them off one by one. But it's, I know usually we see drivers kind of rush their way up, but your progress in that race 1 seemed very constant throughout.
Yeah, well, I started miles behind everyone. So Arthur started at the other end of the pit lane. So when it went green, I was obviously just sat on the pit limiter trundling along. So I think that was part of the explanation, but also I didn't need to rush because I know what how close. I think the qualifying times were outrageously close, so I knew people would fight and sort of catch them up. And then it was just a case of be clean, be aggressive where I needed to be. And then things, obviously incidents happened, which got me through. The goal was always 14th, because then I knew I would be like guaranteed reverse grid. I got that. I was contemplating about just sitting there to try and make my life a little bit easier for race 2, but then I was, no, look, press on. So got, I think, P11, which set us up nicely for race 2.
Yeah, and really the big moment in that race 2 was your move on Lee, and also your move on Winbow. It looked real tricky to overtake out there. Talk us through that. Talk us through that overtakes.
Winbow, I thought he was gonna. So he fought Daniel really, really hard. So then I was expecting that. Then he didn't defend. So I was like, oh, is he kind of just letting me go because I had the run? Then he didn't. So I was like, fair. I know where we stand. Then I think he made a small mistake, which actually let me through. And then I was always good because I'm pretty sure is Daniel second in the championship. I think he is. So it was quite nice to race him on track. I knew I was a little bit faster, but it was also the last race of the season, so I wanted to have a bit of fun. So there was one lap where I was forever trying to go around his outside. That didn't quite work. I think I then waited a lap, got a really nice run out of turn 3. And then just, made it fair play to him, like, because I went around the outside at turn 4. And he didn't run me completely, or run into me, left me enough room. I left him enough room. And then it was a case of stay consistent. I knew, like, Interlagos, you wouldn't think it, but it's a very, very, it's quite an easy track to stay in the draft of someone. So it was a case of sort of get away from him as best I can, and then there was a couple of laps where I just kind of pulled the pin, like, more when qualifying style, and it worked, broke the draft, and then cruised on home.
Yeah, I'm just seeing. So you scored 700 points this season, 695. I'll just see if you scored more points last season or not, because I love looking at that, because it's been.
I think it's less, Sam. I think it's less.
Oh,
I think because my drop score last year was Silverstone, where I'd got a DNF. So I think overall points will be really close, but I think on finishing score, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's less.
Okay, we're about to find out. It's loading up. Okay, yeah, you did better last season. So this season you scored 695 points overall. You scored 799 last season. In fact, you would have lost out to Vysokopsika last season if you'd scored that many points. So is interesting to someone. So that is but I'd say you've driven better. I think we spoke about this last time at Nürburgring, to be honest, how you have improved just in your consistency mainly through this season. I mean, looking ahead to next season, who do you think is going to be your main rivals? I mean, should we have a similar crop of drivers, who do you think is going to be able to take the challenge to you?
The usual crew. Daniel Lee will be up there, sort of Mr. Consistent. Seems to be getting quicker every season. Jonas Bowden as a league debutant was rapid. Just, I think maybe lost his way a little bit in the middle part of the season, which kind of just gave me a head start on him. Taj, if he sticks around, because obviously he came late to the season. James Crouch was really quick. Obviously, he was rapid last week at Nürburgring. So, there's the field standard. I'm sure we'll get more guys in. It just keeps getting better and better and better. So, the work will be cut out for next season.
Absolutely. Also, congratulations on the team title.
It means a lot to us, Sam. Honestly, we love it. So. Yeah, we're really happy with that one.
Yeah, you absolutely should be. I think that might be a three-peat as well. I think you got that one for quite a few seasons in a row. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
as usual, the EvoSR boys for all the practice and the work that we put in during the week. And then you guys, again, the league, the stream, it's all awesome. We really look forward to next season. Hopefully, it won't just be a Corvette Cup. We'll try not make it that, but you never know with the iRacing BOP. So we'll see. But no, just a great season, and all the drivers. I know last week I was shocking, but on the whole, I think the driving standard is also improving. Of course, you can't please everyone, but yeah, just a shout out to everyone on track because I had a great season. So hopefully see everyone next season.
Awesome. Thanks for having a chat with us, Tom, and congratulations on your 2 titles that you've claimed.
Cheers, Sam. See you later.
Tom McMahon there, your season champion. He will keep the car number 1 for next season, and yeah, no doubt he will be back, and no doubt he'll be the big favourite as well. Those points are interesting, aren't they? Last season he scored more points, and Vysokovska scored more points than him last season. Then McMahon did this season. Doesn't really matter, but there you go. We will have some more chats with drivers, and there's only one driver who we can have a talk with. It's Dean Powell, who has taken the Amateur Championship. Dean, congratulations. You've had the pace throughout this season. Can you put your finger on what has changed between last season and this season? Because you've gone from maybe occasional top 3 in the amateur category to consistently the fastest guy. I mean, it's been an incredible turnaround.
No, thank you very much, first of all. I think I've kind of been gradually improving as the season's been going on, and I've had my troubles. I've had a fair few incidents, and I think I've just kind of ironed out some of my consistency problems, and I think kind of that's where the AM championship was won, to be honest. But yeah, over the moon with the win.
Absolutely. In that race 1, you had the starts of all starts. It was incredible. Talk us through it.
Oh, it was a bit crazy. I think I started about 16th or 17th. I didn't really practice as much as I usually do, but I thought I'd kind of throw it down the inside, and I must have gained about 8 or 9 places in the first corner. It was a little brave, and I nearly took out Danny as well, so it was well worth it.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, it was a pretty epic 8th place up there. The batting just seemed so close out there. I'm sure you found it in race 1. I think in race 2 as well. There were so many kind of packs. I mean, compared to the majority of this season, it hasn't really been like that. It just seems really tricky to overtake. I don't know if you found the same thing.
Yeah, I think the only genuine overtaking opportunity is probably the first corner. It's a bit of a procession for the rest of the lap, so I think everyone just kind of bunches up, and I guess it was quite a good watch. I was doing some really nice defensive driving through the first one, keeping Luke and I think it was Mark behind me. That was tough, and I was sweating, so it was nice to finish 8th in the first race.
Definitely. And yeah, because race 2, what happened in race 2 actually? We probably saw it, but a lot happened. I've forgotten.
I had a decent enough start. I think I was fairly steady. I think I was running about 11th or 12th, and I just messed up coming off. Is it the Senna S, the first few corners? I just lost it on the exit of that, and I think it was Tim Perry collected me. Yeah, and that was that really. Kind of struggled after that, and I must have picked up a little damage, so I kind of didn't really do much after that.
And what will your aims for next season be? I mean, spoiler alert, you're going to be a pro driver next season.
Oh, man. I was looking to win the AM championship again. I was getting comfortable.
You finished this season 13th place overall. I mean, what's going to be your aims for next season? Is it going to be a race win? Is it going to be a top 10 in the championship, or what?
It's got to be top 10 overall, and I think I'd be pushing for a win unless there's a really good roll of the dice. But then again, I finished second a couple of races back. Was it the last race? So it definitely can happen, but there would be a lot of luck involved.
Well, best of luck for that one, Dean. You made it a very entertaining championship, and congratulations on your title. Is there anyone you'd like to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, a few. I know my dad's been watching religiously on a Sunday, so a shout out to Philip Powell, Danny Lee, my teammate, my wife Bina, and my two cats, Edra and Emily.
Yes, thank you to Edna. I like any cats, so yeah, good shout out to them. Thanks for having a chat with us, Dean, and yeah, hope to see you back very soon on Apex Racing TV.
Thank you. See you next season.
No one ever shouts out the cats. About time. A few more jazz. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get through everyone, but we have got our race 1 winner in for a chat. It's Jonas Bowden who managed to get his 3rd race win of the championship and managed to seal 5th place overall in the championship as well. Congratulations, Jonas, on that race 1. I mean, once again, fantastic qualifying. You actually end the season as well as the best qualifier of the championship due to science. Science decides you are the best qualifier for the season, which is something. And you got your 3rd race win as well. So, yeah, brilliant combination.
Yeah, it was pretty good then.
Yeah, talk us through that that race 1 then, because it looked like Taj was catching you near the end. Do you think he maybe was that just a case of him having a 10th advantage, or what was that about? It seemed very evenly matched between you two.
Yeah, I think we were matching times throughout the race, and towards the end, I did some mistakes, and he got a bit closer. So maybe 1 or 2 more laps, and he would have been really close. So it was good that the race was ending.
And then race 2, a lot happened at the start. I assume you got caught up in the mess. Is the only thing I can imagine.
Yeah, at the exit of the SNS, I got hit and went into the tires, damaged the car. So my top speed was quite low.
Yeah, still a decent points haul for the round, and genuinely a very successful season. I mean, 3 wins. You get the 2nd most wins of anyone, only behind Tom, and even then he only got 5. So 3 is very impressive. What would you say the highlight of your season has been? Anything that stands out?
Well, the start at Road America was really good, at least the first race. So that was a good start. And then it's been a bit up and down throughout the season.
Yeah, been a pretty turbulent season, but certainly well done on your 5th place overall for the season, and sure that you'll go a bit better next season as well. Is there anyone you'd like to give any thanks to?
Well, I thank my team, Hellraisers, our sponsor, Tershine, and thank you guys for the league and the broadcast.
Awesome. Thanks for having a chat with us, Jonas, and yeah, hope to see you back very soon.
Yeah, sure. See ya. Take care.
Jonas Bowden then in your race 1 winner, and yeah, 5th place overall in the championship. We'll try to get through as many of these as possible. Next up, we'll have a chat with our runner-up for this season, which, to be fair, is a win in itself. It's like the non-McMahon championship. There could be a whole classification for it. Daniel Lee, who, yes, finishes 2nd place in the championship, and quite comfortably in the end as well, with a good, solid points haul tonight. Congratulations, Daniel. I think from the mid part of the season, that must have been the aim to get 2nd in the championship, and you've managed to do it.
Yeah, it certainly was. After the first race, when Bowden made a victory, I just thought, hang on, we've got a bit of a, we've got a sort of an ally in the table here, someone that can slow McMahon down just by sheer battling. So, yeah, there was no catching McMahon. He's quick. He rarely makes mistakes. He's got a strong team that surrounds him and helps him cut through that race 2 maelstrom. I'm happy to be as close as I was, given that me and Dean, we're just a twosome. We've got to fight our way through every single car that comes along by. So on backgrounds, we're happy. But when you combine all those elements together, McMahon is unstoppable. So credit to him for another win. I enjoyed that 1v1 in race 2. Finally, we've been evading each other somehow all throughout this year, we finally got that 1v1 tussle, and he just managed to slice through. So, had a fun race today.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun. I mean, when Tom got past you, I mean, Tom was saying how it's difficult to break the draft around this track. But he just managed to pull away ever so slightly. I don't know, it was like half a tenth a lap for like 5 laps, and he managed to get out of draft range. I mean, was there? Do you think there was anything that you could do differently now? Was there like a small mistake that you made, which maybe just allowed you to get out of that draft range, or do you think it was inevitable that Tom was going to pull away?
Once the draft was broken, I think it was kind of inevitable. He tended to be, when he's out in front and he's broken the tape, there was a tenth between us, which even that is saying something. I couldn't really believe I was that close, and hanging on to the back of his draft for quite many laps with 0.6 seconds between us. But when he breaks a toe and he gets in clean air and he's not under pressure, there's no catching him. So you can't do much against that. You've just got to be as fast. And I feel as though this was kind of a Ford track today. Lots of second and third gear corners where you can put the power down on that mid-engine chassis easier than you might have been able to do on a BMW with less turbo lag. So it suited him. He's quick. There was no catching him today, but we gave it a good shot, and Wimbo deserves an honorary podium for battling that hard so far through the race. I was quite shocked to look down at my relative and see that he didn't come in third after so long. So we all had it today.
And well done on third in the championship, because as a pairing, that is very impressive. I mean, dare I say, I think Vanguard Sim Sports might be a pairing as well in second place, but third place is really strong for you guys. And also, I don't know if you know, but you scored the most amount of points of anyone back at Nürburgring. You as a pair, you and Dean. So that's impressive. Only 200 points as well off the top position as well, Evo SR. So that's quite an improvement for you guys. I asked you last season. I'll ask you again. Are you going to recruit anyone for next season? Because another driver, and you'll be right in championship contention.
It's a funny question. Me and Dean are mates in real life. We're good mates in real life. Hence why we are a pairing together. Things could happen over Christmas. We might be able to rope in and coach another one of our circle of mates to join in on the fun, but as it stands, we're still going to be just 2 in the team. I think we can still do a lot of damage with just the 2 of us, especially with Dean getting faster and faster. In terms of racecraft, he's not to be messed with. So between the 2 of us, with the pace getting closer and closer between us, we'll be able to stand up on our own.
Awesome. Hopefully you properly give Evo SR a run for their money next season. And well done on second place in the championship this season. Daniel, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Thanks to you for doing a great job of the admin, the stats and the spreadsheets. They're great. I love a good graph. There's no contesting that. Thanks to Apex Racing TV for broadcasting, doing a good job there. Thanks to mscienceuk.com for being with us with this. They loved it. And they have seen a new side of motorsport, especially during these conditions, that they hadn't seen before. And thanks to Dean Powell, both our respective wives, for putting up with us, and everyone in the league for being great racers.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Daniel. And hope to see you back. Sure we will see you back racing.
I'm sure. Thanks, Sam. Cheers.
Daniel Lee there, second place in the championship. Okay, these will, I keep on saying that we'll have quick interviews. These will be quick interviews because we're running out of time. But we've got James Crouch in with us now, who has sealed third place in the overall championship. Congratulations, James. Your team, Vanguard Sim Sports, have also sealed second place in the teams championship, which for your debut in this championship is pretty immense. Well done.
Thank you very much. I was super surprised to come into the championship and have the competitiveness we did. And yeah, it's super awesome to just be up there. I'm a little sad I didn't get to fight with Daniel for P2 at the end, but
yeah, it's still
great fun.
Fantastic effort. Yeah, and I mean, in terms of today, race 1. If I asked you to sketch the back of Chris Van Der Nette's car, I reckon you could to it pretty well because you were stuck behind him for absolutely ages. I think that was about 10, 15 minutes, but you finally got past. That looked like a great battle start there.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the funnest races I've had this season. Yeah, super happy that it ends in the way it did. Battling with Mohammed as well and seeing Daniel behind, so it was really, really good fun.
Of course, in this, it takes a while to kind of get to your peak level in whatever championship you're doing. I mean, going into next season, do you think there's anything that you've learned from this season that you're going to be able to take into that and maybe improve for next season to make up make another step up?
I think a lot of it's going to be working out how I deal with race 2s. I think I've had a really good run in race 1, but race 2 I haven't been able to find the kind of consistency, and it's just a few little mistakes that end up penalizing you so much by just having to like move up the field essentially. But so that's something I've got to work on, and I don't think I've got the grasp on it now any better than I did earlier in the season. But I think it's just a frame of mind that needs to be changed. I think that's the biggest thing. We'll try and take that fight to Tom in that way.
Definitely. I mean, if anyone is, you're certainly the person to take the challenge to him next season. James, congratulations tonight and for the championship. Is there anyone you'd like to give any thanks to?
You guys for hosting, Mark for being an excellent teammate. Also the guys at Evo SR, because it's through them that I got to know about this league, and it's been great fun. So yeah, thanks all, and everyone in the race as well. Both throughout the season, it's just been great racing.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a talk with us, James, and yeah, we'll see you back very soon.
Thank you very much.
James Crouch there. We've got 2 more people. We've got 2 more interviews to get through, and then that'll be the end of the season. Who are we going to have a chat with next? We'll have a chat with Emil Winbo because, to be honest, I think we've held on too long because Emil will feel quite disappointed in a way with that, even though Emil, you got your joint best result of the season with a P4. It was so nearly P3, and you did. I think you get the award for best defensive drive of the season because that was crazy how you kept behind Lee for so long. You kept McMahon behind for a bit, and then you kept those others as well right at the end behind for so long. But yeah, good effort out there.
Yeah. In traditional style, race 1 wasn't very good. Well, race 1 last week was good, but this time it wasn't, as usual. But I got a good position for race 2. I got the lead on lap 2. Didn't really get to build a gap because Daniel got past very soon after as well. Held Daniel behind for a bit. Had a little too much wing maybe, so I wasn't able to really, or they closed a lot on the straights, but I was very good at braking. And then Daniel, I really sent it a little hard. Didn't give me much space, but it was gonna get past anyway. He was faster. And then yeah, just trying to hold Luke off for a while. We went side by side for, it was like once, lost 2 seconds, then Taj was there. It was a 3-way battle for the last 20 minutes, maybe 15 something, and then I lost the podium on the final lap.
Yeah, it was pretty tough, but like I said, it was fantastic viewing for us. It was really fantastic to see. Seemingly, since Imola, probably you've had quite an upturn in form. I mean, remarkably, for the first 5 meetings of the seasons, you only finished in the top 20 a couple of times. You didn't get any top 10s, and then recently you've got 3 top 10s in the last 5 races. I mean, can you put your finger on what has changed in that? Have you changed something in the driving, or is it maybe just maybe getting rub at the green?
I think it's partially just being a little faster in the M8. Because I switched car for Imola, so that was when it really started going better, I think. Or race 1 in Imola was really bad too, but I got P4 in the race 2 there. And then I've been getting a little lucky with the reverse grids. At least Imola and here. But then I think I've been maybe driving a bit calmer. Not pushing the limits on corner exits as much. Just trying to bring it home. Knowing especially when you're in a good position, then you don't really have anything to gain up front. It's more just keeping it on island and keeping the others behind.
Yeah, well, you certainly did improve on that in the final few rounds of the championship. Emil, well done on a couple of fourth places to round out the season. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
I guess Apex Racing Academy still. I think it's the most complete driving school. And then also Dane for putting me on his team. Because only reason why I was running the Apex livery in the first place was because I wasn't on a team. But he thought I was quick enough to be on a team. So thanks to him as well.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Emil, and we look forward to seeing you back next season.
Yeah, I hope so. Might not happen because of work, but we'll see. If I'm not back in GT, I will be back in another championship. So
awesome. See you back then.
See you.
Emil Winbow there. We got one more. It's Adam Coles in for a chat with us. Congratulations, Adam, out there tonight. Geez, we've done a lot of interviews. 16th and 19th today. The race feels a while ago. Apologies for making you wait so long. By the way, half an hour waiting for an interview. But thanks for having a chat with us right at the end. In the championship, in the amateur championship, you get second place. So congratulations. That's a fantastic result.
Thank you. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the number ones, but Team Power proved the better.
Yeah, just had the edge in the end. Talk us through your races tonight. It looked as though you were in quite a few battles out there, but yeah, it was also quite chaotic as well.
Yeah, race 1. Can't really remember too much from that. I do remember kind of being at stalemate on the straights with Danny, and I was just kind of following behind him, and then if I wasn't matching him, I was losing a couple of tenths here and there, so I dropped back a bit from that. Race 2. So the first lap I was in P4, and I thought I'd try and give Tom McMahon and James Salt a good battle after a race 1 battle. So I felt like I did, and then I obviously had the mistake at turn 1, just kind of dropped focus just a little bit and lost it, and then I had another tangle. I think it's turn 6 with Tobias Olsen. Oh, is it Olsen? I don't think it's Olsen. I can't remember. And then I think I didn't. Then I dropped back to 20th and had a good battle with Joseph Soul and there was somebody else I can't remember. I think it was Sharon. I don't know how to pronounce
Yeah,
Sharon.
Master. Yep.
Had a good battle with him and couldn't quite get Joseph on the final lap.
Yeah, it's pretty close between the pair of you right at the line. Looking back at this season, any kind of highlights for you? Any rounds that you particularly enjoyed?
Probably Mosport seemed to be quite good for me. I got P5 in race 2 and Monza as well. Monza race 1, I did quite well. So a couple I remember.
Yeah, some good results throughout the season. 18th place overall, and yeah, 2nd place in the amateur category. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Adam?
I'd like to give a big shout out to the team in the Autosport. Those guys are good fun, as well as the sponsor, Max Files, as well.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Adam. And yeah, hope to see you back on the grid for next season.
I will. Thank you.
Adam Coles there, your final interviewee. Thanks to Sam Kumo for sticking with us on that. But it was nice to have a chat with so many different drivers, you know, and a nice way to end out the season. So yeah, Tom McMahon, the champion for the overall championship and the Pro Drivers Championship. And then Dean Powell, the top of the amateur drivers, and Eva SR top of the team drivers. If you've enjoyed this stream, please do leave a like on it, and also subscribe to the iRacing Esports Network, and subscribe to Apex Racing TV as well, and check out all our social media. But big thanks, of course, to all the drivers who have participated in this season 3. It's been the best season yet of Apex Racing League GT. The championship continues to grow really well, so big thanks to all of them. Big thanks to some of the admin team as well, Dane Baird and Lee Thompson as well. Thanks to Sam Kumo, who of course has been broadcasting all the rounds of the championship. Thanks to Adam Hedgecock, who I hope is still listening along right now. Big thanks to him for this season and some exceptional jokes and puns. Thanks to Andrew Woodhouse as well for joining me in the commentary box for the last couple of rounds, and thanks to you guys as well for tuning in for this round of the championship at least, and if you've tuned in for the other rounds of the championship, big thanks for that as well. Thanks for sticking with us throughout the stream as well. We certainly do appreciate your company for these broadcasts. But for now, from me, Sam Fitzpatrick, from Andrew Woodhouse, and from Sam Kumo, we are going to say goodbye. The Apex Racing League GT Championship Season 3 is to a close. McMahon is the champion again, and we will hope to see you back very soon in the near future. See you then.